Hey guys, it's 258. Welcome back to Roseluck's Realization in Chapter 3. Last time, if I remember, Clyde got invited to a dinner date, even though it's just gonna be I think it's a sister date. I don't know what I mean by that. Like, I think it's just gonna be Rose and her sisters, I think? I ain't quite sure. It's kind of weird how you see this, but like, it's kind of weird that Rose invited him to dinner, though, in my opinion. Like, oh, holy shit. Like, I know they're, like, supposed to be nice and all, but I don't expect, like, oh, second meeting, let's go have dinner at the family house or at the roommate house, which would be your sister's, I think. I'm not sure how would we, I would be like, sure? And, like, she literally clarifies that it's not romantically, and I'm like, weird. But okay, I guess it's fine. Anyways, let's hop right into it. This chapter is called Desert Rose, which is, I'm not sure if it's gonna be, I'm not sure if it's like rose as Roseluck or like it's a flower rose. I don't know what these words and these titles have meant so far, so no, if you guys can tell me if they actually are flowers, I'll be like, damn, Arthur out here with the details, but I highly doubt it, so anyways, let's just hop right into it. Roseluck Realization, Chapter 3, Desert Rose. It was cloudy. That was the first thing Clyde noticed as he stepped out of his home, and he wanted to cheer. It was definitely a welcome change from the constantly sunny weather. As far as he was concerned, it had been a little over a week since he had met Roseluck, and it felt like every time they talked, it was in scorching heat. Well, aside from that dinner offer that he hadn't taken her up on, I want to read a book, he mocked himself as he closed the door behind him. He had felt a little bad after coming up with that lame excuse, but he just wasn't in the mood for dinner. At the very least, he had come clean to Roseluck about the next night, when he did have dinner with her and her sisters. She had laughed it up, thankfully, and they had a great time. They had talked about a variety of things, from their surprising shared interest in sports. She was apparently a fan of ice hockey, to how their lives in Ponyville had gone up to that point. He was getting used to eating vegetation all the time had made for quite the conversation, as had his explanation for humans eating meat. All in all, it was a great way to bond even more. The meat thing, protein. With the promise to do it all again sometime, Clyde had gone home for the night. It had been nearly a week since then, and now that it was finally his off day, he was going to make good on that promise. First, he'd take her out for some coffee and just chat for a little bit, and then he'd see where the date took them. Oh, is this a date then, Clyde? Come on, it's been like a few weeks. We just jump a few weeks from the dinner proposal. Are you kidding me? And of course they had dinner and they talked about stuff. But come on, you gotta like leave us out of that? How dare you? Of course he'd go say hello to Daisy and Lily first. While it was true that he had grown closer to Roseluck than her sisters, they were still great ponies to be around. The walk to the marketplace was quick, and the two noticed him as soon as he entered. They waved him over with smiles on their faces. Oh my gosh, Clyde, Lily addressed him as he approached the bar. It's been a few days since we've seen you. How are you? I'm doing well, he smiled, leaning up against her stall. How are you, girls? We're doing great, Daisy beamed. With Princess Celestia coming to town in a few days, we've gotten a lot of orders. Oh, that was sort of news to Clyde. Wait, Princess Celestia is coming to town? What's the occasion? She's meeting with Princess Twilight and her friends, Lily answered. Clyde switched his gaze over to her as she continued. After that, she'll be hosting a public brunch at Sugarview Corner. We've got to go, right? Daisy asked, looking at her sister, Lily nodded. You are so right. Right? Well, Clyde interrupted them, chuckling. I'm sure Rarity would drag me along to the brunch. I actually haven't even spoken to Celestia since Twilight gave me the news that I'd be stuck here. I feel like you would have to meet the monarch. Come on. I'm sure she'll be happy to see that you're coming to terms with that. Daisy leaned over the stall and pulled Clyde into a one-legged hug. I'm sure you're just hiding your sadness, though. Oh, you know them that well now, huh, Clyde? You're out here not letting us see the development of this blossoming friendship. I'm annoyed now. Well, yeah, he admitted it. It will be pretty unnatural to just up and say I'm fine with it. You girls are doing a good job of helping me adjust, though, so thank you. You're just lucky you're not a total bore, Lily giggled. Anyways, I'm sure you're itching to go see Roseluck, right? Damn. That easy to read, huh? Way too easy, Daisy laughed. She's at home doing a bit of gardening. Thanks, Clyde stepped back from the pair. It was good to see you girls again. Hopefully we can all hang out later tonight. We'd love to! They both exclaimed. Clyde laughed, said his goodbyes, and headed off towards the home of the flower trio. Getting there didn't take nearly as long as the night he'd had dinner with them. That night they had insisted on walking and talking, which caused the journey to become nearly 15 minutes long, and this time around he got there in less than 5 minutes. They lived that close. I guess a stroll does do, or at least for Pony's sakes, does do them good. Roseluck wiped a bit of sweat off her forehead, taking a glance up at the sky. It was nice and cloudy, and she silently thanked Celestia for that. Gardening could already be a pretty grueling activity, depending on what she was doing, so that fact that it wasn't hot outside was definitely making this easier. She looked back to her next target, a small patch of weeds growing out from under the house. Getting them out completely was going to be pretty tricky. Luckily, unbeknownst to her, she wouldn't have to. Need some help? Roseluck jumped up and yelped. She crashed back to the ground on her back and looked up to see Clyde standing over her. His blue eyes met the gaze of her own, much larger green eyes, and she blushed. Oh, hello, Clyde. If I had known you were this jumpy, I would have done this sooner, he tittered. She rolled her eyes, grabbing onto his hand when he offered it. He pulled her up, and she quickly dusted herself off, trying to get some weeds out. Roseluck looked back to the weeds sticking out from under her home and nodded. Yeah, they've been growing out from under the foundation for a while now. Daisy wants to hire some pony to come out and get them completely, but they haven't reached out far enough to affect our flowers yet. Well, you never know. Sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. Clyde motioned towards those weeds Roseluck had been eyeing when he'd arrived. May I? If you don't mind getting your hooves, Roseluck cut herself off, looking down at those claw-like appendages, her hands dirty. Not if it means helping a pretty girl. Clyde grinned. Oh, my boy's fucking... Oh, let's go. Not if it means helping a pretty girl, Clyde grinned, laughing at the blush that produced on her cheeks. He crouched down onto the ground, expecting the weeds that she was intent on removing. Crabgrass, huh? My dad showed me an easy trick to get rid of these when I was younger. Wait, Clyde. You out here. Some developments I don't like. Roseluck leaned over his shoulder to get a good look at what he was going to do. Her mouth formed a tiny O as she watched him wrap the fingers on his right hand and around the crabgrass and yanked it right out of the ground, roots and all. Wow, that was incredible. I'd never be able to do that with my hooves. I've always wondered how you guys are able to hold anything, Clyde tittered for the next few minutes. He pulled up the rest of the weeds as Roseluck watched. She was amazed at the ease with which he did, and found herself looking down at her own forehooves every so often, wondering what it would be like to have hands instead. All done. Roseluck watched as Clyde got back up to his feet. The knees of his jeans had a bit of dirt on them, but he rubbed it off quickly. Wow, you just did an hour's work in 15 minutes? You sound a bit upset. No, thank you, she smiled at him, though admittedly she had something else on her mind. So what made you come over? I can't come just to see my favorite pony. Roseluck felt her cheeks heat up again at that. I knew you didn't work today, so I was thinking we could go get some coffee or something, he shrugged. Oh, sure, she exclaimed giddily. She certainly wasn't expecting that, but she was happy regardless. What do you have in mind? Wait, you don't know my boy has chose you to be his favorite? I mean, he's like straight up flirting and shit. I'm just like, bro, I don't know what has happened in these dinner dates, but I'm like, oh, wow, he has gotten so much bolder. I was hoping you might... Oh, okay. Where was I? Oh, sure, she exclaimed giddily. She certainly wasn't expecting that, but she was happily regardless. Where did you have in mind? Where did you have in mind? I was hoping you might know a good place, Clyde laughed nervously. I would suggest Sugar Cube Corner, but Pinky is there today. But you don't like Pinky, Clyde? You don't like Pinky hyperactiveness, huh? Roseluck raised a brow at that and began walking towards the street connected to her house. Why does that matter? Do you not like her? I think she's great, Clyde replied, hurrying up to say, but every time I go there, she offers me some free cake. I've probably gained about 15 pounds since I got here because of that pony. I wish she would offer me some free cake, Roseluck giggled. The two turned onto a path that led them between a few buildings. I hope you don't mind taking a bit of a shortcut. No complaints here. Roseluck glanced to her side and her eyes met with Clyde's for a moment. Her thoughts drifted off as they kept walking to a conversation she had with her sisters the day before. Also, time traveled back into a flashback. What did I say? Time travel. We're flashing back. Alright, water break. What are you going to do for your day off, Rosie? Roseluck, who had been digging a hole, paused for a moment and turned to her older sister. I'm not sure, Daisy. I would probably just do some gardening. Oh, OMG, she is such a bore. Oh, OMG. Oh, I didn't realize what she was saying. OMG, she is such a bore, Lily laughed. Roseluck was about to reply with when Lily suddenly rushed to her side, wrapping a foreleg around her neck. You should totally go see if Clyde wants to hang out with you. Speechless. Oh, look, she's blushing, Daisy exclaimed, causing a sad blush to deepen. Does little Rosie have a crush on the local human? No, she cried out, dropping the towel she'd been holding. Why would you even think that? Just the way you looked at him at dinner the other night? What do you mean? Doi, Lily Forelegs, still wrapped around her sister's neck, twirled her around so that they were face to face. She did her best to emulate the dreamy look Roseluck had on her face. You were giving him this look all night. That doesn't mean I like him, though. Roseluck stuttered. Maybe I was just interested in what he was saying. That would be true, Daisy replied, stepping next to Lily. If you hadn't given that exact same look to that coat you liked back in school, what was his name again? Girls, please just thunderlaying, Lily shouted, but never ended up asking him out. It was just a crush. Exactly, Daisy being. See, you do have a crush on Clyde. Damn, she just admitted to it. Or one of them did. Oh, this is great. Roseluck finally relented, her shoulders drooping a bit. Fine, I guess he's kind of cute. Ah, her sisters both cooed. You should totally ask him out, Daisy said. Roseluck rolled her eyes. No way I'm gonna do that. Daisy, you've heard what ponies were like where he's from. There's no way he'd want to date one, she argued. Besides, I'm sure those feelings were past. I'm sure it's just because I've only ever hung around with ponies. Sure, Daisy replied with an eye roll of her own. Well, when it's been a few weeks and these feelings are still here, you can bet your fling Lily and I are going to set you two up. Go right ahead, Roseluck replied with a sigh. She picked her trowel back up and knelt to the ground, picking up where she'd been interrupted. It's not like that's going to happen. Yeah, you thought you jinxed yourself, but no, you're right on the money, Rose. Come on, your favorite pony. You're like, come on. I feel like that's like a good sign, especially when he remarks with a pretty girl comment. Come on, favorite pony with a pretty girl. What do you expect? What do you expect from that? What do you guys expect from that? Roseluck shook her head, getting that memory out of her head. Sorry, what's up, Clyde? I was just asking if we were almost there. We've been walking in the same direction for like 10 minutes. Roseluck stopped in her tracks and took a look at their surroundings. This way. She bounded off to her left and could hear Clyde jogging to catch up to her yet again. This time, their walk lasted only a few moments before they finally reached their destination. Here we are, the coffee bean. Looks pretty quaint. Indeed it was. There was a little sign in the shape of a coffee bean hanging over the entrance, but there was the only indication that they sold coffee. Clyde pulled open the door, motioning forward with his free hand. After you. Roseluck smiled, trotting inside and right up to the front counter. The door slammed shut behind her, and she turned back to see Clyde eyeing the menu overhead. Well, I'll be. Roseluck turned back to the counter and gasped when she saw who was behind it. Flitter! Roseluck exclaimed. Do you work here now? Yeah, I got the job a few weeks ago. Flitter grinned widely, and her eyes went wide when she finally seemed to notice Clyde. Whoa, you brought Clyde. Hey, hi, Clyde. Hey, Flitter. He smiled. How's the wing? Roseluck looked between the pair a few times before settling her confused gaze back on Flitter. Wing? What's he talking about, Flitter? Oh, it's no big deal. Flitter closed her eyes, throwing her hoof out limply. I clipped my wing on a tree branch a couple of days ago. Clyde saw me rolling around on the ground in pain, so he brought me to Nurse Redheart. No big deal. You hurt yourself, Roseluck yelled. What if Clyde hadn't showed up to help you? I know. I should try to be more careful when I'm out night flying. Flitter groaned, rolling her eyes. You're such a nag, Roseluck. A nag that you love, Roseluck winked. Good. Alright. So what do you guys have? Also, they're best friends out here. Or not best friends, they're friends. They're friendly out here. Of course, Clyde, needs to get used to that. Clyde, who had been patiently watching while they had been chatting, looked back at the menu. I will have a medium vanilla coffee decaf. Oh, what a great choice. The vanilla here is to die for, Flitter smiled. And for you, Rosie? I'll get the same thing, but a small. Alright, 2 cups of vanilla coffee coming up. Flitter sing-song, prancing over to the coffee machines while she was getting everything ready. Roseluck led Clyde towards a booth in the corner of the shop. The two took a seat across from each other, and Roseluck watched with interest as Clyde did his best to position himself comfortably in the tiny booth. You're a little big for the booth, eh? Huh? No kidding. He moved his legs around for a few more moments before finally he seemed to be comfortable. Well, as comfortable as he was going to get. So what made you pick this place? This was the first place I ever went to when my sisters moved here. I like to think of it as a second home. Because I come up here a lot to just get away from everything. Roseluck explained for a moment. Neither of them said anything. Roseluck blushed a bit. You must think that's pretty silly, huh? Nope, came the blunt reply. I had a place like that back home, actually, but it was a local deli, not a coffee place. Alrighty, 2 vanilla coffees, a medium for you, Flitter said, placing a cup down in front of Clyde, and a small for you. She continued repeating the action for Roseluck. So what made you two want to come out here? Clyde actually asked if I wanted to go get some coffee, Roseluck smiled. Well, after you helped me finish pulling up some weeds. Oh, so you two are on a date. I'm so sorry, I'll leave you alone. Flitter yelped out, rushing behind the counter and through a door. Meanwhile, leaving behind 2 madly blushing individuals. Was no one gonna say that? Clyde, you literally asked her out for this. Like, what do you mean, boy? What do you mean, Clyde? Clyde, my boy Clyde out here, Sorry about Flitter, she's just, no, it's fine. Clyde cut off Rose. So how's your week been? His attempt to change the subject didn't go unnoticed, and Roseluck was more than happy to go along with him. It's been pretty good. She paused, taking a small sip of her coffee. Aside from helping Lily and Daisy, obsessing over the princess coming to town in a few days. Oh yeah, they told me about that. She's holding some sort of brunch, right? Well, she isn't, but yes. She took another sip, then looked at Clyde's cup. Are you not gonna have any? Just waiting for it to cool off, he smiled. Where's this brunch being held? I'm pretty sure they told me, but it slipped my mind. She could keep corner, Roseluck laughed at the disgusted face Clyde made. Sorry, but there's no escaping the free cake this time. Ah, damn it! Roseluck stopped her laughter, a confused expression replacing her smile. She tilted her head to the side of it. What's that mean? What? You said damn it, what does that mean? Roseluck asked, her eyes blinking curiously. It's a curse word. You use it when you're frustrated, Clyde replied, looking just as confused as she did. Does it not exist here? The only curse words I know are pony feathers and horse apples, she shrugged. Much to her chagrin, Clyde broke out in laughter. Seriously? Okay, that is way too adorable. Finally, Clyde took a sip of his coffee before continuing. Hey, this is actually pretty good. Told ya, Roseluck smirked. A question that had been gun burning in the back of her mind caused her to change of subjects. So what was the whole business with Flitter? That whole business with Flitter? Okay. Oh, you mean with her wing? Clyde asked, and Roseluck nodded. I had to stay late at Rarity's a couple days ago. Something about a shipment arriving late from Saddle Arabia or something. I don't know. To be honest, sometimes I kind of zone out when Rarity's talking about where she gets her fabrics. I think that might be because. Clyde, Roseluck interrupted. Flitter? Oh, sorry. Speaking of zoning now, well, I was outside organizing the packages she got, and she was like to have everything organized before we even bring it inside. You know, to make things easier. He paused, taking another sip of his coffee. When he put the cup back down, he was wide-eyed. Wow, this is really good. Roseluck giggled cutely. You're really easy to distract, Clyde. Sorry, he blushed embarrassingly. Well, I would say in this case, wouldn't it be a defense mechanism? Because, you know, he can't go back home and he needs to make this place a home, you know? Anyways, it was really quiet outside, so when I heard what sounded like wood splintering, I decided to go check it out. Excuse me. I ended up finding Flitter a few hundred feet behind Rarity's boutique. What happened? I mean, aside from her clipping her wing. Well, I'm sure it was to maintain her pride, but she didn't tell you the whole story. She flew straight into this little tree. Couldn't have been more than 15 feet tall. It fell right down on top of her wing. Oh my gosh, Roseluck turned towards where Flitter had run off to, then back to Clyde. Was she okay? Yeah, the tree didn't weigh more than 40 pounds, so she just sprained it. Well, she's lucky you were there to help her, Roseluck smiled. The two each took a sip of their coffee, then she continued. So you carried her all the way to Ponyville General? It was no big deal. She was going on and about me being her hero, but she was pretty out of it. A tinge of jealousy sprung up inside Roseluck upon hearing that, but she did her best to ignore it, so what happened after that? I went home, and today's the first I've seen her ever since then. He shrugged. Like I said, it wasn't that big a deal. A hint of jealousy, bro. What? A hint of jealousy? What? It shouldn't be that. Come on. My boy's gotta make a family here. Not literally, but like, at least have friends that count as family, you know? The cream-colored Earth Pony definitely disagreed with that, but she knew that she wasn't going to change his mind on the matter. Still, now she had a new thought of burning in the back of her mind. Why had she been jealous when he mentioned Flitter, calling him her hero? She zoned out, all of her focus going towards that all-important question. It was true, what Lily and Daisy had said the day before. She did have a tiny crush on him. Was it possible that it was bigger than she thought? Maybe. This is maybe for you. Come on, Roseluck, she berated herself. That's just silly. I mean, he's not even a pony, not to mention he's clearly not looking for a relationship. He just found out that he's stuck here forever for Celestia's sake, but then why do I get a funny little feeling in my tummy whenever he smiles? Fam, your sisters know you better than you know yourself. Roseluck let her outside, which didn't go unnoticed by her human counterpart. Is something bothering you? Roseluck, no, she showed off, her thoughts consuming her yet again. There you go again. You can't even finish a sentence because you're too busy thinking about him. She scolded herself. Deep down, she knew she just needed to calm down, but for some reason she couldn't. Okay, there's only one thing to do. I surefire way to find out whether or not you actually like him. Come on, you can do it, she thought. Her internal struggle continued, and that was the last straw, and she knew she was going to do this no matter what. Damn it, Daisy was right. She confessed to herself, using the phrase she learned from Clyde. Roseluck took a deep breath, then bellowed out, do you want to go to Princess Celestia's brunch with me? The end. I love how that's the end, boys. Like, ooh. I thought she was going to ask, like, are you looking for a relationship? Or like blah blah blah. I guess we'll find out. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the story, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. I'm so broken here. Yeah, I'm an outcast. No, I never fit in, but I outlast all these money pop fiends with the color pop dreams. Rather come up on my own, cause they out fast, out fast.